We have a great team of panel speakers with us today who are from sustainable businesses, and they are going to talk about part of their startup process and also, the sustainability issues that we are looking to focus on today. So I'd like to go straight into it, really. I know we haven't got very much time, so we'll crack on today. So if I could introduce you first of all to Vahid from Green Bell Packaging. Hi, Vahid. Would you like to explain a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Thanks, Jackie. My name is M Vahid Nagori. I'm a founder and CEO of Green Bell Packaging. We are a plant-based and plastic-free packaging solution company based in Liverpool.
Thank you. And Ali?
Hi, Jackie. My name's Ali, and I own McCormacks in Crosby in Liverpool. And we are a refill shop or a zero waste shop. And our aim is to help people in the community reduce plastic and reduce waste.
Great idea, thank you. And Kate, if we can come to you, if you could give us a brief introduction as to who you are and also one of the projects that you're currently working on, please.
Hi, so it's great to be here. I'm Kate. I'm the CEO of a social enterprise based in Liverpool. We're called We Make Places, and we're launching a new project at the moment, a manufacturing project. So it's particularly relevant to the sustainability agenda that we're talking about today.
Fantastic, that's great. So Ali, you mentioned about your refill shop. Is it just a retail unit where people pop in, or is it something that you also offer online as well?
It's predominantly a shop. However, because of COVID, we had to make changes. So we introduced a delivery service very quickly after the lockdown was announced. And we spent a lot of time delivering to the vulnerable and the elderly within the community. So we still offer that, and we still offer a click and collect service at the shop too. That's
great to hear. Do you think that there has been more call for it since COVID, or is it something that, that was quite well taken up prior to the COVID as well?
Do you mean the delivery service?
Well, actually the refill service itself.
To be honest, we started the business about 2 years ago, and it was a bit of a slow burner. And I think the pandemic made people think more about environmental issues. So I did find that people were coming to us more, asking questions. And because of the whole exercise regime people had, they were walking past the shop and popping in and just asking about it. So it's definitely raised awareness of refill and zero waste shops, for sure.
So you said that you've started just over 2 years ago, about 2 years ago. How did you get started? What was it that sort of gave you the idea to do that?
Well, I've had a business at this location for 9 years. I used to run a gift shop, and then about 3 years ago, my daughter, who was 8 at the time, started to learn about climate change in school, and it made me look at how I was doing things at home in terms of recycling and using plastic. And although I'd always recycled at home and given clothes to charity shops and tried to do things that were positive, I'd never really thought about it in much detail. And then I found out that most of what we try to recycle doesn't actually get recycled. I think it's actually less than 10%. And it really opened my eyes to the whole problem. And actually at the time I was thinking of opening a health shop, but my research led me to zero waste. So I went and visited some shops in the Northwest. I did some research and I became slightly obsessed with the whole thing, much to my family's annoyance. And the more I looked into it, the more I just felt I had to do something about it. So I changed my shop from a gift shop to a zero waste shop in the space of a week, which was very stressful, but it was something I really wanted to do. So everything we sold in the gift shop, which we felt was not sustainable or not ethically sourced or contained plastic, we had a huge sale, got rid of it all, and then started to think about what we were stocking. And, we've gone from strength to strength from then.
That's an amazing story. It does show you how market research really can have a huge impact on, changing a business and making it what you want it to be. And listening to what demand is as well, what people are asking for. So Vahid, you're a packaging company, Green Bell Packaging.
Yes.
We all know plastics obviously have had, a huge detrimental effect on the planet, and there are, thousands and millions, whatever, of tons of plastics in the ocean and all sorts of things. So how did you sort of start with the green Bell packaging, and how is that sustainable? What is it that you offer that's different?
Well, at Green Bell Packaging, we offer plant-based and plastic-free packaging solution, which is very unique. And the product range we have is made of plants, and once used and discarded, just disintegrate within 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When we started, there was no so much awareness among people and among public and the government side, and also we started with the vision to promote plastic-free packaging solution. So we were just going step by step, and things just all started coming together.
Okay, so talking about promotion there, how do you find promoting what you do? What sort of things do you do to promote your business?
Well, we started with the social media, initially social media and website, and also through our customers. Whenever we used to supply, like a customer used to refer us, that's how we spread it all around UK now. And we supply it all around UK, and also started recently with Europe as well.
I remember actually coming to your office, Vahid, many years ago, and you actually showing me, getting one of your bags and putting it into the glass of water, and sort of tearing it around. It just disintegrated. It was amazing to actually see, and it's a great thing that you're doing there. So Kate, if we can come to you, really, really exciting project that you're working on at the moment, and sustainability in, manufacturing, that's really, really important as well, isn't it?
And I think for us also, it's about sustainability of the organisation. So I think that we're individually and commercially, we could be customers of both Vahid and Ali, so that's great. I absolutely love refill shops. I wish there was one at the end of our street. I've been campaigning for ages. All the Alison Road shops need one. But we, as a social enterprise, it's slightly different to a charity. It's considered to be a not-for-profit, but I am profit obsessed. So if I just sort of explain that, so we're able to trade, which is different to a sort of standard charity, and we have a social mission. So we don't have any shareholders. All of our profit goes back into delivering our social mission, which is about supporting individuals and communities to build their own self-confidence and their collective confidence and cohesion, and their ability to influence places and spaces that they work in or live in, or in their neighbourhood. And for us, or for me certainly as the CEO, one of the issues of sustainability in the organisation is how we remain sustainable financially. And it would be harder to deliver our mission if we were consistently chasing funding. And so we've chosen the social enterprise structure because that enables us to trade. And so I believe that through trading and developing commercial activity, then the profit from that pays for our social work. And so one of the projects that we run, which is not profit making, is called Urban Workbench, and it's a learning program. Essentially, from the outside, you could say we're teaching people joinery skills, but what we never set out to do was teach people to be joiners. What we set out to do was to improve individual self-confidence and give them a sense of purpose, give them a sense of a place within community through the processes that we go through in building things for neighbours and giving things as gifts and using our skills and talents in that way. But what we were finding was that some of the people we were working with were actually really excited for the first time about something they felt they could use as a career step, and they were wanting to learn more about joinery. And our commercial work, where we do joinery commercially for other people, wasn't going to be a place for them to do that. So we've created, and we were also seeing that those people were kind of a long way back in the job market. So perhaps people that were still living in hostels or had severe mental health issues, and they weren't necessarily going to get the opportunities that other people might have. So they weren't going to be first on the list to be offered an apprenticeship or to get a place in college. And so we wanted to give them something more positive on their CV. And looking at the marketplace and the kind of people that were coming to us and asking us to make things out of timber for them using digital technology. So we've got a CNC machine, which is a big, beefy kind of robot that cuts timber. We did some research, and we came up with the idea of replacement kitchen doors. And so the Life Apply is an almost launched website. It exists, but you can't buy off it yet. It's not finished, but it is the lifeapply.co.uk. And it's a program that is going to hopefully generate us an income, but really importantly, it's going to give a sustainable route for those people coming off our program to get paid work placement and work experience. And then the whole thing about kitchen doors is that why throw away a kitchen, and why also go through the upheaval of having a kitchen ripped out in your home, etc. We've all become a little bit more focused on our spaces as we started to use them more at home over lockdown. A cheaper, more affordable and less mess way, and just more totally sustainable ways to just replace the doors. And we work in plywood, which is an FSC product, and we work to design furniture and these doors and kitchen accessories that are literally, there's no waste in them. We've just done a planning application for our new premises, and the city council planners wanted us to talk about where our bins would be, and we said we don't need any. They literally don't believe that we don't need a bin. So probably once or twice a year we might get a skip to kind of tidy up the workshop, but we are not producing waste. We're literally making products out of everything. We actually turned down a commercial job recently because in our view, it was poorly designed and there would have been too much waste from the process of manufacturing it, and we don't want to operate in that way.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm really excited to hear everything that you're talking about, Kate. It sounds absolutely amazing. And also as well, I think I'd like to tap onto the fact that when people talk about sustainability, a lot of people straight away think of the environmental side of things. But actually, in reality, sustainability is also about those sort of human resources, social resources. Yes, yeah, and that's very much a key element of what you're creating here, and that's really, really exciting. So back to you, Ali, if you don't mind. Obviously, being is it just refills that you do, or is it new products also that you offer? What sort of is it that you have? What sort of range do you have, and how did you source those?
We have a huge range of goods. So we sell dried goods, everything from herbs and spices to pasta, rice, lentils, pulses, nuts. We sell olive oil, which it works on a circular economy. So all the tubs go back to the manufacturers and no plastic is introduced into the system. As well as that, we have a massive range of products for the home, so everything from hand wash, hand sanitizer, multi-surface cleaner, you name it, we have it. It's all environmentally friendly products, so when it goes down the drain, it's not going to kill any fish or aquatic life, which can't be said of most products you pick up in the supermarket. As well as that, we sell cards and gifts which are made in Liverpool, from things like glass and wood. So we're not only trying to be sustainable, but we're trying to help the local economy as well. And it's something I've always done at the shop. We've probably got about 8 manufacturers or suppliers, artists, whatever you want to call them, from the Liverpool area. We've always done that. So a lot of the sales from the shop do go back into the local economy, but we've got a huge range of things. So it could be toothbrushes, sanitary ware, you name it, we have it. So we're more than just a regular refill shop. You can come and get Christmas gifts from us at the moment. We've sourced them so that they're not plastic. We have nice products made from wood, metal, concrete. So we really have got all sorts. Something. Do
you have a website? Is that something you've created yourself, or you? I
don't have a website at the moment. It's something that I'd like to arrange, but the finances haven't allowed just yet. But just a very basic landing page, I think I need at the moment, because for me, most of my business does come from word of mouth from the local community, because I've been in the community for a long time. When I had the gift shop, so people do know that we're here, but I would like to try and reach further afield. So a website would be great, although Instagram is probably the best platform for me, and it's really transformed the number of customers that come into the shop. So it's a great way to promote yourself, I think.
Yeah, I know I follow you on Instagram for sure, and have done for a while. I think that's the thing, isn't it, with social media? It's not always necessary to have a website. you know, because even when you have a website, who's going to see it if actually you can't promote it?
Exactly.
So, you know, it's how, you know, social media and, you know, referrals, people actually being able to see you, and the fact that you actually have, you know, a retail unit that people can come to, that, you know, they can pass, you have that natural sort of footfall, you know, of people that go past, and it is more the local economy that you are looking to support, isn't it? As you say, those local artists that you have in the store, but also those local people that you can do those doorstep deliveries for, which is fabulous. So Vahid, I know you have an all bells and whistles website with lots of things on there. Was that something that you created yourself, or did you get somebody to do that for you?
Well, we got somebody to do that, but obviously I had to put so many inputs in during the it's a long process. So step by step, even now we are working on it to change it towards next level. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find it works well for you, or again, is it social media that you tend to use?
But initially it didn't, because most of our customer base is direct B2B sales. But nowadays, since 1 year, we did a lot of marketing towards SEOs and use social media to connect everything together, and it has generated results, and we are getting a lot of footprint on our website and other channels.
Fantastic, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Kate, with the Life of Ply, is that something that you've had to create a business plan for? Have you been able to get funding for that, or is it something that you've had to self-finance?
So a bit of both. So it's been something that we originally took some social investment for. About 3 years ago, we took social investment on to purchase the machinery and equipment in our workshop. So we've almost paid that off, to be honest, which is great. And now, and we've been using that equipment to do commercial cutting for architects and for cafes and bars, etc., to do furniture for them. And we've got a website for Urban Workbench, which we created ourselves, and which the SEO on it seems to work really, really well for CNC cutting, which is the service that we offer. So we're like number 2 for local CNC cutting, which is great. And we're kind of like in the top 5 or 7 or 8 of any version of CNC and local to me, if you do that in the Liverpool area. So that generates us a lot of work, a lot of income and a lot of work. But as Vahid said, that's a business to business kind of site, even though that's not what we thought it was going to be. That's how it's become. And so, yeah, we've set up a new website for the Life of Ply, which again, we've created ourselves. But it's a much more complex site, to be honest. And so now we've just this week started work with an SEO company, and we managed to get that funded by an organisation called Unlimited. And they are going to get us to the top of Google for plywood furniture and plywood kitchens and refurbished kitchens and kitchen doors and all of those wonderful phrases. We hope. But that's very much, as Vahid said, it's kind of like working alongside them. So we produced the first version of the website. They come back to us when they want us to change content and things. So they're doing a lot of research for us as to what the best keywords are that they think we could rank for. And so, yeah, that's a partnership over the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks where we really push that site out. And yeah, social media, like Ali said, Instagram's been great for us. Using the Urban Workbench moniker, but obviously we're about to start using Life of Ply. Yeah.
No, fabulous. I mean, I'm always excited about Liverpool itself. You know, Liverpool is a very forward-thinking city, and I know that since, oh gosh, is it 2018, the Liverpool Knowledge Quarter Sustainability Network was set up, which obviously, again, you know, is something very forward-thinking, and it's one of those things that, you know, people can certainly research themselves and look at. So being in Liverpool, do you feel that sort of helps you in any way? If I can ask Vahid first, if we can come to you, do you think that being a Liverpool-based sustainable company has actually helped push your business forward because of the sustainability elements of the local authority and what they're trying to achieve?
Well, Liverpool has definitely helped a lot where we are today. Especially, I would like to name a business IP center at the Central Library, Ali McGrath, Gary Miller. They just helped throughout the time. And when when I started visiting in 2018, since we were like very initial stage, and after 3 years, they have changed completely in a way, the kind of support we have got throughout.
I will obviously close with information on the BIPC Liverpool so that people can obviously connect with them at any point in time. And I think this is the thing, when you have a business idea, sometimes having that support is invaluable. Having people that you can go to say, do you know what, I've got this idea, not sure if it'll work or not, what should I do next, you know, is always something worthwhile. Ali, did you have a business plan, or because you adapted your existing business, was that something you didn't feel you needed?
Initially, when I first set up the gift shop, Tilly Mint, 9 years ago, I needed to get a loan from the bank. So I did have to do a full business plan. So having done that, initially, I used that experience to help me with McCormacks. So I did a lot of research, but I kind of based it on the original one, did lots of research, spoke to people, tried to sort of get opinion from my existing customers, and I started talking about it on Facebook and Instagram to let people know what I was thinking and how the journey would be. So I think it's really important to have a business plan, and I think that's why many new businesses fail, because they haven't actually thought it through and thought about who their customer is, what they want to achieve, and they haven't financially planned for it, because it is really hard. And I think lots of people think they can take an income from the business immediately, and you can't. You have to plan not to do that, because you know, you never know what's around the corner. Nobody knew COVID was likely to hit. Unfortunately for me, I was in a place where I could make changes and adapt, but you can't always do that. And that's why it's really important to know from the start, you know, what your market is, who your customers are, and have it all in place as much as possible.
I know that when we talk about sustainability, I mean, I actually did a web search on, you know, what is sustainability before doing this event. And one of the explanations, definitions was avoiding depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. And, you know, this is where, you know, guys like yourself, Vahid, you know, to be able to provide packaging that actually will ensure that, you know, there is a balance still, you know, in the environment and ecology, in the ecological balance. But again, Ali, thinking about, you know, when we talk about sustainability, a lot of people talk about those 3 R's: the reuse, the recycle, and the reduce. But actually, sometimes they forget about the refill, which is where, you know, you guys come in. You know,
Definitely.
That's again another important R, isn't it? It
is, yeah. And people always think about the environmental side of things, and you know, recycling and not using plastic. But refill shops were something that were around probably, you know, in the 50s and 60s, and then again in the 80s. I remember going to refill shop as a child, and then they just disappeared. So we need to create more awareness around refill shops, I think, because if you can keep the same bottle or the same tub, you know, for the next 30 years, that's brilliant. A lot of people tend to rush out and buy so-called environmentally friendly products without really thinking about why they're doing it. So refill it is a great way, because it not only does it reduce plastic, but it prevents waste. And also, if you're on a low income, for example, it can save you quite a bit of money. And I think by avoiding supermarkets and shopping in refill shops, because you only have a small amount of products, you end up saving money and not buying products which will end up in the bin or go out of date. And it makes you focus your mind on what you actually need rather than what you want or what supermarkets make us think we want. So it really is a good way to shop if you can be organised enough and think about what it is you actually need.
And if we could go down the same route as Kate, where we could turn around to the council and say, do you know what, we don't need a bin, you know, or we only need our bins collecting, you know, once every 2 months or something, that would be absolutely amazing, wouldn't it, Kate?
Yeah. Brilliant.
There are so many things that obviously we can look at doing, but unfortunately we can't cover them all today. I do obviously think when we look at sustainability, there are certain things that we can all do as business owners or just even in our own personal lives. Refill absolutely is one of those things, you know, reuse and repurpose. So again, Kate, you know, where you come in, you know, looking at what we've already got and how we can adapt what we've got, and actually not only look at the, you know, the environmental side of things, but also those social side and the human, you know, resource side of things as well, encouraging people to actually think about what they do and how they use things. Vahid, you also do, I know we talked a little bit about the plastic side you mentioned there, but I know that you also do a lot of sort of paper and card-based packaging. Do you think that there's been a huge increase in that side of your business as well, since, you know, people have become a little bit more aware of you know, the social and environmental impacts?
Yes, definitely. When we started, plastic was in full swing, and everybody was just wanted plastic. It was cheap, and it has so many benefit at that time. But since we all going towards less plastic and more environment friendly packaging side, people are asking for more paper bags and other paper made products, and also there are more inquiries towards plant-based packaging a lot. And even the big companies, they have targets to change their plastic packaging completely towards more sustainable and plastic-free packaging. So that's the big change, which I have seen in the last 5 to 6 years. It has changed completely.
Yes, absolutely. We all know that obviously COP26 is on at the moment, and people are very much focused on the environment and the impact of what we're doing as humans to, you know, our planet. And that's something that is going to be ongoing. And obviously, you know, having the sort of the net zero, you know, carbon and all that sort of thing is something for us to focus on, and will impact on all sorts of businesses. And I think when now people are looking at setting up a business, I think that's one of those things that people do need to be aware of, looking at how they themselves, but also how their suppliers actually impact on the environment. I mean, I, as a consultant, I'm from Max Consultancy, and we do ISO 14001, which is environmental management systems, and we help businesses and support them to actually ensure that they are following certain guidelines and that they are actually, you know, doing this, but not for themselves. It's not just the upstream, it's actually the downstream as well. But, you know, businesses looking at going paperless, you know, how they recycle or reuse or repurpose what they have within the offices. There are other businesses within Liverpool that I'm aware of, certainly one in particular springs to mind called Go Green Office Solutions. Hi, Shane Hanley, if you're listening. And they actually sell second-hand office furniture, you know, that is basically, you know, provided from whether an office closes down or, you know, they decide to do a refurbishment. And again, you know, repurpose, reuse is all very, very important. Renewable clean energy, again, is another thing, you know, how we as businesses actually run our electricity, you know, our energy within the business itself. So the manufacturing side, obviously, again, you know, Kate there is really important, and Ali for your, you know, suppliers, you know, how they actually produce their products as well, and similarly as well for you, Vahid, you know, ensuring that the products that you receive, even though they're environmentally friendly in their own right, actually come from environmentally responsible sources. You know, there's no point in you sort of promoting all of these things and then finding that actually the people that are producing them are shoving all sorts of carbon into the air as well. I would love to carry on and keep chattering away, but again, you know, I'm very conscious of the time. We've got, you know, about 10, 15 minutes left. So is there anything specific that you would, if we come to you first, Vahid, if you could provide advice to somebody who is looking to set up a new business or has just started a new business and they want to be sustainable in some way, what sort of advice do you think you would give them?
Well, I would definitely recommend market research, and knowledge about what they are trying to do is very important initially. And also sustainability is very important topic we have been discussing. So sustainability, carbon footprint of the what's outcomes going to be of what they're planning to do, so that if they think about all those topics and start something, that would be very beneficial.
And Kate, if I can ask you a similar question, please, if you could sort of provide some advice to somebody that was looking to set up a business.
So I think that one of the things that we discovered during our market research was that very much our customers, so we did a lot of work on who our potential customer was for this, for furniture and kitchens made of plywood and kitchen doors. And, you know, we discovered that those particular customers are very, very concerned about all these sustainable issues as well. So I actually think if you as a business are concerned about them, it's going to be very likely that your customers are too, because that's just a movement that's rightly going on at present. So I think that communication, I think being really honest, exploring your own things, like, as you've mentioned, like, you know, right across the board, who are you, what kind of space are you using, how are you heating it, who is your supply chain, think about everything that you purchase and can it all be purchased locally, because that's a really big impact as well. We talked about, you know, building a sustainable economy for us here in Liverpool and for the people that we work with, getting our staff to contribute to the local economy in different ways as well. So not just financially, but in terms of their time. So we operate a 4-day week for 5-day pay for our full-time staff. So we don't ever want anyone to work 5 days a week, but we don't want them to suffer financially for that and have to work elsewhere. And that's because our staff like to volunteer, they have other interests, they're musicians or they're artists or whatever, or they like doing their yoga or just actually doing your life admin. I'd rather they had time to do it than squeezing it into their lunch hour and kind of feeling resentful about that. So I think communicating the way in which you are behaving responsibly and sustainably will actually be really good for your kind of customer relationships. Because it's likely that your customers feel the same way.
Yes, yeah. And the same to you, Ali, what sort of advice would you give to somebody if they were looking to set up a business?
Well, I think sometimes we can overcomplicate matters, and I think there's lots of things we can do which will not only save us some money as a business, but are also good for the environment. So I read a very interesting article recently about emails, and actually you can cut down on your carbon footprint by deleting emails. And there was an interesting fact, which was that if we all across the world, all email users deleted 10 emails a week, we'd reduce carbon emissions by, I think, 39,000 tons. And, you know, I've got about 5 different email accounts, and I felt awful when I read this. So that's one thing that you can do. I mean, we all get magazines and things through the post, which we don't need. You can get it all online, so you need to stop that. When you subscribe to various shops, you know, when you've ordered something online, you get an email from them, unsubscribe. And it's just little things like that. Turning off lights, turning off TVs, or, you know, equipment that you use when you're not using it. I mean, my dad used to always say it's like Blackpool illuminations in this house when I was a kid. And I used to really resent that at the time, but now I'm like, oh, he's right. So I make sure that I do things like that. So it's just small things really, and thinking about your energy supplier. Like Kate said, try and get stuff locally. There's no point in driving, you know, all the way across the city when you can get something much closer. So it's just small things like that really. Small steps make a big difference. But again, it's doing research and just stepping back and thinking about all the little things that you can do, which collectively will add up to a big thing, really.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You've all basically touched on, you know, so many areas there that I think are important for anybody, whether they are already running a business, whether they've got a business idea, or actually just in their own personal lives. You know, if we all make, as you say, a small difference collectively, it's going to have a huge impact. So, you know, all of those things that you mentioned there, you know, going paperless, using renewable clean energy, you know, looking at how much energy we are using. That thing about the emails was amazing. I hadn't actually heard that, and I'm going to have to go after this and actually look for that article and find out what it's all about. Actually,
we'll be putting a post on today on Instagram to explain. It's something I've been meaning to put on for ages, but just haven't had the time. But it really is quite mind-blowing to think that just having a load of spam emails sat there, you know, could be adding to the problem. So if you just delete a few every day, you know, it will make a difference. And also the internet browser that you use as well, there's one called Ecosia, and I think they plant a tree every time we search on that. rather than just searching on Google. You have to check that, but it's something along those lines. So there are lots of small things, you know, we can do. We just look into it a little bit more.
For sure. So if we wanted to see that post later on today, Ali, what would we look for, and where would we look
so
for it?
It'll be on McCormacks Crosby on our Facebook and Instagram page.
McCormacks Crosby.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. We'll certainly look for that. And for you, Vahid, when you're promoting yourself on social media and things, how can we find you? Where are you?
Well, basically, we are everywhere. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and our own website.
Okay, and those handles, what will we search for?
Sorry?
What will we search for? Is it just Green Bell Packaging?
Yeah,
or?
Green Bell Packaging, correct.
Super, fantastic. And Kate, you've obviously got your finger in lots of pies. So how can we connect with you? How can we find you?
So on LinkedIn and Twitter, we're at We Make Places. And then on Instagram, we've got at We Make Places. And we've also got at Workbench LPL. And we've also got The Life of Ply. But we're
Wonderful.
not really using that yet. I would go for Workbench LPL if you're interested in what we're doing with Life of Ply, because it
yes, yeah. But your Life of Ply website hopefully will be up shortly. You mentioned
the lifeofply.co.uk is up. Yeah, you just can't buy from it.
Fantastic. That's absolutely fabulous. Okay. Well, yes, Ali, sorry.
I just wanted to say to Kate, what an amazing name for a business. I love it. It's one of my favourite books, Life of Pie, and I think it's a great play on words.
Thank you. There were quite a few of them that came up, but yeah, thanks.
Whilst we've got a minute or two then, actually talking about naming businesses, that can be one of the hardest things to actually think about. So, I mean, obviously, Ali, your surname's not McCormack. How did you come up with McCormacks?
McCormack is my maiden name.
Right.
And my dad often jokes and calls me Arkwright from Open All Hours because he thinks I can sell anything to anyone. So when I changed the shop, the idea was to go back to basics and be more like an old style family shop. So it just seemed to make sense to call it my family name, which is McCormacks.
Ah, see, yes. And for yourself, Vahid, Green Bell Packaging, where did that come from?
Well, that name was suggested by my wife. And also we wanted something like that involves something green and eco-friendly. So that's how we came up with this name.
Mm-hmm. And Kate?
Well, for the Life of Ply, we wanted something with plywood in it and something quite memorable. And We Make Places, I guess, is the concept that we believe that it's the individuals that use and live in places that should make decisions about them, not planners and architects. And even though we came from an architect's sort of background, the three of us that founded it, we believe that it's citizens that should have the right to make places.
Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's very nice. Well, my company, Matt's Consultancy, MATS, is actually the initials of my children's names. So it's nice to have things that, you know, resonate with you, you know, and actually mean something, you know. That's always really, really nice. So when people are looking to start up a business, you know, having that name that, you know, is just right for you, whether it represents what it is that you do or, you know, your brand values, whatever, you know, is really, really important. Okay, so we are going to have to look at wrapping up now, unfortunately. These things are never long enough to really cover everything that we'd like to, but it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to all three of you today, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to come and discuss about your experiences and hopefully help some people out there to understand what it's like to actually run a business that is sustainable. Everybody hopefully will be able to connect with you independently, so whether that's on your social medias or through your websites if you have them or when you have them. And just please, you know, everybody have a little think about what we've talked about today. You know, not only is sustainability about the environment, it is also about all of those other things that we've sort of talked about there, which is the social, economic and the human resources as well, and how they impact and how you impact not only as a business but also as a person. How do you impact on your local environment, sustainability of your local sort of area, that sort of thing, really. We did mention about the refill as well as the reuse, recycle and reduce. So there are plenty of ours there. I'm sure we could probably add some more in, and things will change. Those phrases will change and adapt over time. But it's been, as I say, an absolute great experience to chat to you today. Hopefully people have picked things up. But the main thing really is now to say thank you to British Libraries for putting on these events. I've been representing the BIPC Business and Intellectual Property Centre in Liverpool, which is part of Liverpool Central Library. If anybody has any queries or questions, then they can be put directly through to the BIPC at Liverpool Library. And that's either on the telephone 0151 233 5835. Their social handles are at BIPC Liverpool, and they are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn. And they also have an email address, which is libraries.enquiries@liverpool.gov.uk. So there are plenty of ways to connect with them. And the BIPC Liverpool have an absolute plethora of events coming up and do throughout the year, some of which are face-to-face. Hopefully more of those will happen soon, but the majority at the moment is still obviously virtual and online. So please do follow them on Eventbrite and obviously have a look on all of their social handles to see what other events are coming up. I have been lucky enough to host quite a few of their events and have a few coming up shortly, one of which is actually looking at tech for business, which is next Tuesday, the 16th of November. So again, thank you for joining us today. Thank you very much to Vahid, to Ali and to Kate for talking about their businesses. And yes, good luck everybody in your journey, whether it's starting a business or continuing to run your business and yeah, being sustainable. So take care.
Thank you, Jackie. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.